Welcome back to our Decision Canada coverage. The last of the polls have now closed. British Columbians have finished voting. That means all the ballots right across the country are being counted now. Global News has declared a Liberal.
Tonight, the son of a prominent businessman is convicted of his father's death. What led to a second-degree verdict for Dennis Oland? But his family insists he's innocent. The world reacts to Syria peace talks.
We hope and expect to be at the table and be able to implement a full ceasefire.
But can the resolution work with Assad still in office? And why is the Montreal Canadian Star at the center of a language debate?
C'est très bien, but my name is PK.
Global National with Robin Gill.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The jury deliberated for almost 30 hours before delivering a guilty verdict.
This week on the West Block, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the politics of the biggest proposed deal in history. Then, the debates are done and we're down to the last 2 weeks. We'll take the pulse from a pollster, 3 pundits, and professional strategists. Plus, why preserving our archives should be on the election priority list. Welcome to another Decision Canada edition of the West Block. From the nation's capital, I'm Tom Clark.
Good morning, I'm Sonia Sanger, and here's what's coming up on BC One this hour. TransLink reports normal service this morning. This after another shutdown yesterday. More on what caused it ahead. And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau meets with the Queen at Buckingham Palace as Canadians learn about the federal government's refugee resettlement plan.
Now, BC One, BC's News 24/7.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. SkyTrain is up and running again this morning, although service started today with fewer trains on the tracks.
Victoria police scandal.
Well, it's extremely rare to have an investigation into the conduct of a chief constable to begin with.
The shocking allegations forcing the city's top cop to step aside.
Surrey 6 setback.
He might have not pulled the trigger, but he is responsible.
The notorious mass murder and the surprising punishment for one of the key players.
And cheetah on the loose.
Oh, I was feeling sorry for it. This is not Africa.
Hoping for a speedy end to the search for this big cat in Creston.
Live from Global BC, the News Hour with Chris Galis and Sophie Louie.
Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, it was a heart-stopping scene in the Okanagan. The pictures last night were dramatic.
I got terrified when it cracked under me.
A mother watches on, horrified, as her special needs son sits in a frozen lake awaiting rescue. The usual first major snowfall. Work begins on clearing several centimeters from sidewalks and clearing accidents from local roads. And it's back in the saddle for the local Western Saloon in Kelowna, where people have returned to kick up their heels and ride the bull.
This is Global Okanagan News at 5 with Rick Weber.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doris Maria Bregolisi. Rick is away one more night. And we begin with one of the most colorful events of the holiday season here in the Okanagan.
Today on the Saturday Morning News.
People are forced out of their homes early this morning after fire crews respond to a blaze. We'll go live to the scene for an update.
And residents evacuated from their homes in Airdrie, why the heavy police response had to happen.
Now, from Global Calgary, the Saturday Morning News with Bindu Suri and Stefan Keys.
Good chilly Saturday morning to everyone out there.
Snowy one.
Yeah, if you look out your window this morning, this is what you will see. There's definitely some snow, rain mixes, or is it just snow at this point?
tonight on the NewsHour.
A midday assault of a Calgary senior. Did two men pose as landscape workers using a stolen vehicle? Heading to a heat wave. Summer has arrived, and here comes the sizzle. A Canadian golfing legend gives back.
And you see the struggles that the children are going through and the families are going through and the wonderful work that doctors and nurses do, and that's what life's all about, really.
When Mike Weir comes to town, our kids are the winners.
Now from Global Calgary, the NewsHour with Gord Gillies and Linda Olson.
Good evening. Calgary police are looking for two suspects who roughed up and robbed a senior.
Now from Global Edmonton, the NewsHour with Gord Steinke and Caroline Devaney.
Good evening. Richard Suter will spend the next 4 months behind bars.
Now from Global Lethbridge, this is the Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin in our province's capital, where a pair of violent convenience store holdups have left 2 people dead.
From the Global Regina studios, the new news with Whitney Stinson.
Good afternoon. Thanks for clicking in. Some serious charges laid this morning after a man was found badly injured on North Lawrence Street.
I'm pretty uncomfortable with him being here.
Parents on North Lawrence Street are nervous after this neighborhood street was the scene of an attempted murder. And it is officially repealed. A law that mandated producers in our province to go through a costly labeling system is no more.
And it's Christmas, so we thought that we should give out some presents to people.
Plus, we've captured some amazing random acts of kindness this week, from random gift giving to parking meter fairies.
From the Global Regina studios, the Evening News with Whitney Stinson.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. Some serious charges laid this morning after a man was found badly injured on North Lawrence Street.
This is Focus Saskatchewan.
Who polices the police? What should have happened after RCMP killed a man in 2013?
We called several times, and same story. We can't, it's a non-running case. We can't tell you anything.
What can we learn about ancient peoples from the Kyle Woolly Mammoth?
It might have been cold here, but there were people here for some reason, and they were hunting mammoths.
How has one of the biggest and best-selling games ever inspired Saskatchewan gamers?
Super Mario did a lot of really clever things with the way that the game was designed, the way that the sounds were stored, the way that the sprites were stored.
Here's your host, Raquel Fletcher.
Good evening. Over 2 years ago, RCMP shot and killed a man at his home in Holdfast.
2 months after a fatal shooting, police laid charges against 4 people, none of whom are believed to have pulled the trigger.
This really tore me apart.
He's been acquitted of sexual assault, but is the damage already done for a well-known Saskatoon man? And a woman's locket is stolen, while the contents of it are irreplaceable, and she's desperate to get it back.
Live from the Global Saskatoon studios, the Evening News with Wendy Winiski.
Good evening. Charges have been laid, and Saskatoon police are releasing more information about the shooting that killed a man in October.
These machines will be very busy on residential streets 24 hours from now. If you don't know your zone, now is the time to find it out. That story and much more coming up. Here are the rest of your headlines. 'Tis the pricey season. Our dollar hits Manitobans in the wallet during the most expensive time of year. Plus, mall madness. The pressure is on with one more week to do all of your holiday shopping. And later, when playing at home really means home, which Moose players get to be home for the first time in years for Christmas.
From the Global News Center, the Evening News with Heather Steele.
Thanks for joining us. With only a week left until Christmas, your wallet is probably starting to feel a little light.
From the Global News Center, the Evening News with Angie Seth.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. Well, it is the last weekend before Christmas and the last chance for some shoppers to finish off that big wish list.
A dog's death on the subway tracks raises questions about safety and security.
I don't know if she was trapped on their property for 7 hours. I don't know if she was hit and trains kept going.
We have the owner's tough questions for the TTC. Living with a disability and now facing eviction a week before Christmas.
She doesn't understand money, and she didn't ask for help.
How did the lack of a pay stub lead to impending homelessness? It's a story you'll only see on Global News. Plus, Santa uses his Pickering headquarters to send some healing words stateside.
Ho, ho, ho doesn't always work, so you got to put something behind it, right?
A simple request transformed into a mission of Kris Kringle kindness.
From the Global Newsroom in Toronto, News Hour.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Carter. We begin with disturbing new details about a lost dog that shut down part of the city's subway system this week.
From downtown Toronto, this is Focus Ontario with Alan Carter.
Welcome to Focus, the show that never deletes an email.
Hi there, thanks for joining us for this edition of Focus Montreal. On today's show, we'll meet the author of a new book that celebrates our collective passion for hockey.
Serving Greater Montreal, this is Global News.
Hi there, thanks for joining us. Well, 10 years ago tomorrow, the Holman Price family lost their beloved Jessica.
Now, from the Global News Center, the Halifax Evening News with Ron Kronstein.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Possibly the most bizarre legislative setting in recent memory is over.
Now, from the Global News Center, the New Brunswick Evening News with Ron Kronstein.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Major changes to the route, cost and size of the Energy East pipeline have some in our region excited because of what that could mean.